Hello again. This is Wendy Down with the next recording in our Future of Aging series here in the Consciousness Playground. This is recording number 9. It's called Get Ready to Drop a Decade in 3 Minutes Flat. And while that promise or possibility may seem completely impossible, we can take the advice of Einstein, who said that a problem cannot be solved on the level of consciousness from which it was created. We're going to apply that type of insight here in this recording. And by the end of it, you'll see how you actually can drop a decade in 3 minutes flat, because I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to guide you through an exercise that will take a very short period of time. During that exercise, you actually will drop a decade. To set the stage for that, I want to highlight some insights about your body, about time and space, and about age that we're going to need to draw on in order to work on this topic from a level of consciousness that's beyond your and my everyday sort of normal state of mind. And that normal everyday state of mind is that we are individuals moving through time and space in bodies that accumulate time throughout our lives. The insight is that, or one insight is that on a quantum level, your body is not accumulating time. It is rather a continual in-the-moment creation. On the quantum level, or from the level of physics, there is no time. And reality instead is an experience of this now moment, the only moment that ever exists. Reality is an experience of this now moment from a continuously changing series of perspectives. In other words, you've only ever always known or been in this now moment. And the experience that you're having in any one of these now moments, or this now moment, is simply this now moment seen from a different perspective, seen from a different point of view, seen from a different age, seen looking at and experiencing different events, but only always is this is life an experience of this now moment seen from an ever-changing variety of perspectives. And since you're an eternal being, and so am I, this experience of being in this now moment will never, ever end. It's one of the most thrilling and freeing things that any of us can realize. It's also an understanding that can give us a tremendous amount of control over our moment-by-moment experience. And it allows us to challenge and change things about ourselves, our bodies, and our lives that cannot conceivably in any way be changed from the perspective that we're moving through time and space. So in each now moment, your body is an entirely new creation created out of your own consciousness. Your body blinks into existence in each now moment with such speed that it appears to be solid, but it's not. The only reason our bodies seem solid is that our senses are not fast enough to pick up the rapid rate of change, the flashing in and out of existence that our bodies actually go through. So similar to watching a movie, your eyes aren't quick enough to pick up the flickers of those different images passing through the screen, but we know that each one of those images that we see piecing themselves together as a a movie is actually a still shot. And this exactly mimics our bodies as well and our whole life experience, that each flicker, each moment, each nanosecond is a still shot. There's no movement in any single second. And what creates our experience of life and our experience of moving through time is a variety of still shots that each change in a way that suggests a progression over time. And that's how our experience of aging occurs, that we don't know or haven't known that we can switch around the placement of those various still shots, that it's within our realm of ability to experience sequences of time and events that don't logically seem to move through time. That scares the hell out of us most of the time. But if you're someone who's curious and willing to suspend your disbelief that such a thing could happen, and willing to move into a state of your own consciousness, your own expanded awareness of who you really are and what's possible for you, you can start to have experiences that reflect events occurring outside of the typical normal time sequence, and you may have already. Today, though, I want to, with you, focus into an experience of this now moment that, as I said at the beginning, allows you to drop a decade of time in 3 minutes flat. And what you'll find, if you're new to this kind of thinking or this kind of work, is that it's not going to be that difficult to do. So let me just stop for a second and see if there's any more background information that I think is important to share with you before we get right into the exercise. And there is just a little bit more. We know now from medical science that our bodies, there's not a single cell in your body that's more than even 7 years old. Because cells replace themselves. And so right now, no matter what age you're at, there's not one single cell that is older than 7 years. So why is it, you might wonder, as I do, that your body reflects age, that you seem to be older than 7 years, despite the fact that your cells, not a single one of them is more than 7 years old? The even more astonishing truth is that because you're on the level of physics or the quantum level, your body flashes in and out of existence millions, maybe billions of times a second. You exist and don't exist in a body, exist and don't exist. You're more changing potential than you are physical form. So the more astonishing truth is that the body you are in or perceive yourself as being in this moment is not even the same body you had a moment ago. So again, if this body that you're sitting in right now is new, what creates the experience of aging? That's what we're going to go into right now. Because right now, I'm going to guide you in a very tangible, very practical way to feel where in your body you're storing pockets of energy, history, emotion that are creating right in this now moment the experience of age or aging. We're just going to work with one, but once you work with it, you'll understand that there are many, many, many more such pockets that have been unconscious to you, unknown to you, that have, beyond your conscious understanding, been creating a body that's aging, and which, when you're able to release, identify, release, and change one of those pockets, you'll be able to do exactly the same thing, if you want to, with every other unconscious pocket of age that's now stored there. So the exercise is going to give you a direct peek into the mechanism that your consciousness uses to create age in your body, so that you can gain conscious control over it. So let's get started with this right now. Let's see, before we really get into the 3-minute exercise, I want to be sure that you're in the state of consciousness or state of awareness or the state of focus that's going to make this possible and easy for you. So let's start by taking you there. And obviously, well, obvious to me anyway, the first thing that you'll need to do is to take your attention off anything else that is going on around you right now. In other words, you can't be multitasking while you're doing this. All of your attention and focus needs to be on turning inward and following along to where I'm taking you within your own consciousness. If you need some help doing that, you might find it useful to close your eyes, maybe lie down. Take a few deep breaths, slow, deep breaths. And let the pace of your thoughts start to slow down. Your mind may be spinning from whatever you were thinking about or involved in before you started playing this recording. And your mind may be spinning, trying to think about the concepts I just shared with you. For a moment, turn your attention to any feeling of pressure in your body. In other words, you might be thinking about things, trying to, manage them in your mind. And if there's a pressure to think, that pressure itself will have a feeling quality to it. So rather than think about what I'm saying or think about what's ahead, just simply notice the quality of pressure. That's driving your thoughts. And that feeling will be lower down in your body. It may actually be a feeling of pressure that's there all the time. A feeling of needing to do something, needing to understand something. It might be even more generally characterized as the feeling of standing in one place in your life and wanting to be someplace else. In other words, being at the beginning of this recording and wanting to be sure that you get to the end and do it right. Or being in one position in your life on any other subject and wanting to be somewhere else on that subject. That gap between where you are and where you want to be, your awareness of that gap can feel like pressure to act or do. And so rather right now than act or do, please instead just put all of your attention on the quality of that uncomfortable sensation that you read as pressure. The discomfort of it actually is so difficult to be with, you may find, that it's harder to just sit and feel or sense that field of energy than it is to get up and do or go into your mind to think. And I want to address that common inner pattern, the discomfort of being in one place and wanting to be somewhere else, before we get into the exercise at hand here. So if there's any of that feeling that will feel like a dissatisfaction perhaps with where you are or who you are or what you know or what you can do or what you understand right now, just take all of your focus, all of your awareness, and train it right now on fully feeling that sensation. This is going to give you this is like an entry point, a portal into the state of consciousness or state of awareness that I want to take you to. I'm just going to be quiet for a moment and work with that in you from my end here. Because in the quantum realm, you and I aren't separate on that level. And as I sense and feel it in myself, I sense and feel it in you as well. We're a tag team on this. And you can actually feel all the way through that until it disperses, until the discomfort of it, the incoherence of it, starts to dissipate and you find yourself in a space of deep ease, stillness, peace, presence. A state where you are content, so content simply to be conscious. Your body may feel very peaceful, still. It may feel very expanded. It may actually feel like you don't have a physical body. You may feel more just like consciousness or focus rather than physical. That may not be true, and if not, that's okay, but it's one of the possibilities that exists as you move to this level of self-awareness consciously along with me. At this level, you're aware that any sensations that occur in your body are simply experiences that your consciousness, your larger consciousness, is having. And in fact, your body itself is simply an experience your consciousness is having. Your body exists in you rather than you existing in your body. In this moment, you may also be completely focused in this now moment. You may be so enjoying the stillness that's here, that you're not distracted by anything related to past or future. You're just enjoying being conscious and aware and present here with me right now. And in this present moment awareness, you realize, or you may realize, how different this way of being is from your normal day-to-day consciousness moving through life or seeming to move through life. In this more expanded, more focused presence, focused here and now, you're much more able to sense and be aware of aspects of yourself that are normally overshadowed by the pressures of day-to-day life. So it's these inner unknown or unexplored nooks and crannies that we want to dive into now. And specifically, we just want to dive into one of them. So assuming that right now you're here, you're conscious, you're interested, you're alert, and your mind isn't busy with other thoughts, let's introduce the exercise. So in the spaciousness, the stillness of you right now, I invite you to bring to mind or let come to mind an event from the past, like perhaps an old sports injury or something that happened a decade ago. I'm going to say a decade because that's the title I'm using. But it could be 5 years ago. It could be longer than that. Something from the past that occurred at a different age, that represents a different time, a different person you were. It might be something, an event, an upsetting event that you still feel something about, that still feels maybe unfinished to you. Or if it's a sports injury, say, it could be a sore knee that you attribute to something that happened that one time many years ago. I just want you to bring that event to mind. And as it comes to mind, within the stillness of your presence right now, what you'll also find arises is any emotion or energy that you still have, or that you more correctly are creating right now within your consciousness, within your body, within your emotions about that event or about that situation. And do your best just to think about that old circumstance and invite your body to reveal to you consciously the emotion or energy that you currently have tied up related to that event. And you'll feel it as sensation somewhere in your body. There may also be images or thoughts or something, but mostly what we're looking for is any subtle or powerful emotional responses or energetic movement that you notice and are uncovering as you remember that event. Now, in your normal day-to-day thinking and the level of consciousness that you normally probably walk around with, your understanding of your experience of that event in the present is, excuse me, I'm just paying attention to the changing energy that's occurring as you put your focus where I'm asking you to put it. just going to be quiet for a minute and be with you as you are conscious of whatever is occurring within you. It may be very subtle or may be quite powerful right now. And I'm going to complete my sentence in just a moment when this passes. Okay, what I was starting to say earlier is that normally in day-to-day life, when we remember something from the past, the feeling that we have about it or how we experience it in the present is because we think our experience now lingers from something that happened in the past. But applying the insight that I shared with you earlier, what's really happening is that in this very moment, as you think of that situation, feel any physical sensation in your body that you have been attributing to that event in the past, you're actually in this moment creating that memory right now. And you're also simultaneously creating the emotion or energy that you associate with that memory. There is no past. You're creating that past right here, right now. This is the truth on a quantum level. And so right here, right now, in this present moment, you don't have to go anywhere else but right here, right now, to drop all the energy of what you perceive to be a decade of age. In other words, when you think about how old or long-standing or how much history you've been creating related to that particular topic or issue, you've been creating, unconsciously creating that 10-year span, that age related to that topic. In other words, it didn't happen 10 years ago. You're creating 10 years of history related to that one event right here, right now. Your body's flickering in and out of consciousness. And as you keep creating or recreating and recreating that one situation in a whole multitude of present moments, extending out its history, extending it out backwards in time, you are in the moment creating the experience of that 10 years of age. Now, this may seem to be too big to wrap your head around. Maybe not. But this is how we create age. In each present moment, in many of our present moments, we unconsciously create history. And a lot of the history that we unconsciously create contains what seems like unresolved energy or incomplete energy or emotions related to those historical events that we are creating in the present moment. And the more of those historical events created in the present moment that have strong emotional charge or even physical discomfort related to them, the more age we accumulate. or seem to accumulate. There's a state of being which may seem like you couldn't imagine ever being there, but you can if you want to. The state of being where age isn't created is one in which we are so focused completely in to what's happening in the present moment, the here and now. And enjoying the richness and fullness of our moment, of our body's present time, our emotions' present time. We're feeling the wide range of both what our physical senses pick up and what our subtle senses pick up. We're so completely immersed in the present moment and dancing with the present moment that none of our energy, that present moment energy or consciousness, goes into creating uncomfortable histories. It's like we drop our pasts in terms of incomplete emotional experiences or incomplete lingering physical traumas. I'm pacing out my words because I'm just tracking as you mentally, emotionally, and energetically absorb and realign yourself to the energy that's present here. As I sort of haltingly share thoughts and concepts, and I wait to feel how they land in the space that you and I share. So let me reiterate how to drop a decade in 3 minutes flat. You take your awareness away from the external world. You turn it internally. You feel any discomfort, any distraction, any unpleasantness that's there to sense. And then by invitation, you invite your body to show you a memory of something that happened in the past. I'm saying a decade in this case, could be any age. A memory of an event, situation that happened, but which in reality you're creating in this moment, that feels incomplete. That's creating the idea of history, that you've been dragging this around for a period of time, a decade, say. And then as you allow, just to the best of your ability, your awareness of how your consciousness is miraculously, amazingly creating in the here and now with such vividness, the memory of it, mental pictures, things that were said, things that happened, and right here and now, things in your body and emotions you can feel. This beautiful, multidimensional, complex, so real, artistic, energetic creation. And you allow yourself to notice all of it without needing to shy away from any of it. And you simply focus on that creation, the feeling of it, the images you get from it. In the present, in the here and now. And it starts to feel more comfortable and it starts to fit you better fit who you are right now better until it feels just right. In that moment, you undo a decade of age. You bring all of that right here into the present moment. And that's how you drop a decade in 3 minutes flat. And if you want to experience yourself as eternally ageless while in a physical body, one practice is to simply do that over and over and over again and bring back into present time all the parts of you that you have spread out in an apparent past over history. And when you do that, if you do that, what you'll notice eventually is that the past has no relevance. You may remember events, you may not remember events, but so much more of your consciousness of you will be completely focused in the here and now. And you will truly feel and be ageless. And over time, your body must reflect that. So that's how to drop a decade in 3 minutes flat. Enjoy, play, and I'd love to hear anything you notice or have experienced or learned or realized or remembered as a result of this. Bye for now.